Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, January 24th, and we have a decent amount of news and I suppose not a ton to do right now except for the Tavern Brawls, which will certainly drive us crazy. We're on the European account, and because the European account doesn't trigger until a little bit later, maybe it's 5 o'clock, I need to figure out the exact time that the European accounts decide to put in the third quest. At the very least, we know we need to play warrior cards, and I'm willing to roll the dice and assume that I can do this 40 gold quest and I wouldn't have wanted to trade it out in a fashion to try to get more gold. I have noticed we're at 2,400 gold, so hopefully we're a little less than half the way towards the next expansion, because if the next expansion gets announced, say, in a week, I'm really short on gold, and I don't know how that would have happened other than just Blizzard releasing expansions too quickly. Today is Nefarian Rise. Join forces with a friend to take down Nefarian again. Alduin teams up with newcomer Morgai in this new cooperative Tavern Brawl. Which, alright, well that I think tells me then this is going to be a rather easy thing. If I can pick characters, I'll pick warrior. Because I don't think you can lose in one of these Tavern Brawls. Well, you could lose, but you would have to lose. Well, I'm playing as a shaman, so I'll potentially play some shaman cards towards that other quest. Nice. Alright. I finished playing Nancy Drew Lights Camera Curses. 200 health. Can't be targeted by spell. Nefarian wins the game if he defeats either of you. Interesting. So we gotta do 200 damage. And he's got cards that are just gonna do damage to everything. Can't be targeted by spells. So we need a massive amount of... This is gonna be hard. This is going to be tough. We need something that can do a lot of damage, that can get buffed, that can resummon. So I assume Leroy Jenkins is here for that point. Yeah, I finished playing Nancy Drew Lights Camera Curses, the first game in the Dossier series, where it seems like there's only 2 games in the Dossier series, and the second game seems to be rated positively, which I find surprising because that first game was just awful. Total garbage. At the start of your turn, restore this minion to full health. That's not going to help much. I don't think this guy knows how to win any better than I do. It's like finally we did some damage. Dealing 9 damage to the hero. So I have to defeat this guy, or he's gonna do 9 damage to my hero. Main tank. Battlecry, give all other minions +2/+2 except for this guy. Which, I guess that's what I've got to do. So I can do this. So I can do this. So I can end a turn. We've gotten an announcement that there's going to be another lunar sale. I guess it might be similar to the Chinese New Year sale that they did a couple years ago. I guess that would make some small amount of sense. But that's not in the budget for me, so what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, in an effort to seek out different types of ways to make this channel more profitable, I think I'll make a special video that goes through what I'm e-begging for people to purchase for me on the Steam sale, like games that are on my wish list, saying like here's the games, here's the range, here's the games that I'm really interested in, because the wish list is big and some of it is just random garbage, and that gives me an excuse to look at the list. It also sets the So we got him to 160, and now he gained 5 attack and is immune. Well, how's anybody supposed to beat him now? This other player is taking forever to end his turn. So yeah, during the summer sale, during the winter sale, during when I am purchasing things, I spend at least 2 days going through the lists, making shopping lists and stuff like that, and if I make content out of that, that certainly is something to think about, something that, let's see, if I resummon something, that probably wouldn't do him much. So instead, let's do this. And I could end my turn, and now I can attack with these two. I think I'll just end my turn right now, because it's more important to have characters on the field for whenever he does that. I've also looked at like DTube. DTube is an interesting cryptocurrency thing that's trying to be an alternative to YouTube. For me, though, it falls apart in two main concepts. When you put a video up on DTube, it can only make money for the first 5 days, and it's through that cryptocurrency, which is a very unstable currency. And then it can never make any money again. And the videos are decentralized, so basically somebody has to have a copy, or everybody has to have at least one part of a copy of every video, or the video is just seedless, as to use torrenting speak, I suppose, which is not a safe way to have your uh, it's just not a smart way to run a business and have your content up there. If nobody ever watches your video, which particularly for me right now, that's exactly the case, then there would be no copy of your video after you uploaded it, I assume, for quite a while. I mean, I don't even know how that works. I guess you upload it, and either you have to keep the video on your own hard drive until somebody else watches it, or it goes to a very small server that slowly deletes things once it's full, and it just doesn't. DTube doesn't have that stability. It would potentially work if they fixed the monetization where everybody could always make money. But you would also need to have some backup servers, some giant servers like YouTube has. Let's see, I need to heal. Let's see, heal this. While we're at it, let's see, let's give a minion Wind Fury on his side. Give this one that. Seems like we're gonna win. Now, when he got down to 60, though, he now does 10 damage. Which means, unless I buff... He just did negative 30 to everybody. I should have given my main guy a death rattle. I didn't realize that he was for certain going to die. And how did he get back up to 90? Let's just do this, I guess. And in the turn, I also tried to look at VidMe, which is apparently a video service that's out of business for several years, and Vimeo, and some other things that seemed like I've heard somebody at least mention them as far as streaming services. None of them compare to a potential Twitter allowing you to upload videos, which that is eventually going to happen, almost certainly, or uploading to Facebook and just dealing with Facebook endorsing content thieves, or uploading to Twitch and dealing with Twitch deleting videos. If Twitch is in this mood to delete things every 30 days, it wouldn't be completely impossible to re-upload things every 30 days over and over again on Twitch, as long as what I have stays in. Let's see, let's take that. As long as my videos stay on YouTube, which Tom of Tom's Take, who works at YouTube and is the only one that's actually putting out any kind of video or any kind of information, even though it's heavily edited and censored. has, for the moment at least, tried to enforce the idea that channels aren't going anywhere. A lot of the features, they're saying you're going to keep all the features except for the monetization stuff for now until we think of new metrics. And for my channel in particular, those metrics may still be too high. Speaking of which, I finally figured out how to see watch hours, and actually I'm 65 hours short. So I would need, let's see, basically one person to watch 4 days straight of content, more than what has already been watched. And honestly, it may be too late because the truth of it is the last 12 months may have already happened. Like, I get kind of this feeling that there really is no way that anybody who got the letter saying they're out of the YouTube Partner Program can stay in the YouTube Partner Program. Because the way it's phrased, it's like, well, in the last 12 months, you didn't reach this metric we just made up. That's why we're kicking you out, so it's too late. I think everybody is going to have to reapply, and there is certainly a level of fear in reapplying when you do meet those metrics and YouTube just saying, no, we don't want video game critics, or we don't want anything else. And what's infuriating a little bit, but really just goes to show that there's no communication, and the concept of kicking people out of the YouTube Partner Program, it was something that seems like it was directly demanded by Susan or somebody at Google above Susan, who's the CEO of YouTube, because at the exact same time they're merging all of the artists. So all those Vimeo channels that flood YouTube of musical artists are now getting merged, and all of their multiple channels are now going to get huge bumps, and you're going to see some musicians go from having maybe 3 or 4 channels that had 10 million subscribers, most of which are multiple, the same people just subscribe to multiple channels. All of that's going to get merged, and I wouldn't be super surprised if that means there's going to be somebody who is subscribed to 3 channels that counts as 3 subscribers on these new merged channels, just because YouTube intentionally or stupidly does the math wrong. So you're going to see music channels just jump up. Ideally, I'd like to see all the Vimeo channels go away. Like, I don't think they add too much to the YouTube community at all. I don't feel like they deserve the promotion that they get. Do I have enough to win here? Probably not. Let's see. I've got 10 here and 8 here. But I don't know. I don't know. This is probably not the right response. Because now he's just gonna play something. Like, my player here is not helping at all. He doesn't know what he's doing. So really all I can do is this, and then this, and then this, That's all I can do. Well, that was a huge waste of time. I kind of want to give some... Well, at least he played some shaman cards. I want to give some applause to Tom, because Tom did come out and say, look, I've got some small channels, and when I got that letter, it felt really crappy too. And even he is internally saying that letter was not written well, it was not delivered well. It still really boils down to them not addressing the elephant in the room, which is what they're saying they're trying to achieve is not going to work. And I've seen some other YouTubers, I've watched way too many people put their 2 cents in about the kicking people out of the YouTube partner program. They're saying that this is going to clean up YouTube, which YouTube has always been a mess, and that means a small channel like mine that won't be monetized will start going up in the search results, and I'll start getting more views, and I'll start getting more subscribers. I don't know if I really believe any of that. Like, the thing that they needed to do to promise that, and to make me feel, YouTube needed to do to make me feel like that was even a chance, is they needed to say, we are also actively and have been actively kicking out bad actor channels and terminating accounts, which they haven't. And I thought about making a video where I just go and show the bad active channels, just kind of a name and shame video, and show how many subscribers they have, and show an estimated amount of watch time they have, because in all honesty, that's, when you look at it, when you go look at the live trending tab, and you see that it is just all this lo-fi hip-hop stuff where all the music is stolen but it's not getting content ID'd. It's The Simpsons, it's Peppa Pig, it's a lot of Alex Jones channel. At least that's what I see on the live trending tab. And I often wonder if maybe other people see different things, and for some reason I just have YouTube has decided that I enjoy seeing the worst of the worst. And when you look at like the Vine compilations on the recommended tab, which, to be fair, in the past week or two, I don't think I've seen any of those. And what I should do is, if I was going to do that, is I should go in an incognito mode to YouTube and see what they're showing. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll make a special video about that. Just to point that out, because it is really ridiculous. We just switched hands with the other character. Well, what should I do now? Are we always gonna switch hands? I guess we switch hands and switch decks. Put a copy of an enemy minion in your hand. Alright, that'll work. So, this and this, and that's all I can do. So we'll end the turn there. I guess today's a slightly different day. I'm a little bit more relaxed, and I'm still talking about the YouTube thing, and I guess I probably will. I'll probably be talking about it even after months have passed and nobody cares about it. People using Save Small Channels or any other hashtag in my comments, by the way, that is always getting flagged. I'm having to go back and click approve. It's being marked as spam by YouTube, so that's, take that for whatever you will. Let's see. Copy your hero's power, I guess. Maybe we should do that. Or double minions health. Or this. Let's go ahead and do this. A health increase is not a terrible idea. But yeah, I'm not as things are getting sorted through, it doesn't seem like it's as bad as possible. As far as Twitch, the scheduled presentation is weird. They're called premieres, and it seems like it's the beginning of a system that would be the equivalent of having scheduled videos on YouTube. Oddly, though, it puts up a timer for about 10 seconds before it plays, even when you're watching it before. So it gives this weird false impression that you are logging in just on time when you're watching a pre-recorded, basically video on demand, which there is this other system known as for video on demands, I think, that you can do on Twitch. Not what? Twitch? No. Yeah, Twitch. Twitch, no. What am I talking about? Like, what's the name of the service? I've just drawn a complete blank. The component, the Amazon thing that is the competitor to YouTube. Twitch Prime. Yes, it is Twitch. I don't know what just happened there. I guess I'm not really awake enough. So, anyways, my point there was, yeah, the system that I found to automatically upload videos uploads them as an upload. So that would almost certainly have to be what I use, because I can't manually upload 5,000. Both of those videos are on my YouTube, Twitch channel for now. I guess in 30 days we'll see if they still are there, or if one gets deleted, or if the other does. Nobody really watched it, which isn't a super surprise. And even at 220 or so YouTuber subscribers, the concept and thought of going backwards and doing it yet again seems like a concept I would not want to deal with. So did I trigger? Yeah, I probably triggered something I wasn't ready to trigger there. This is a slow tavern brawl. Far too slow. Alright, let's stop talking about YouTube because there's really nothing too new to say there. Again, people should probably subscribe to my Twitch just to be certain, but if you're following me on Facebook or Twitter, you're probably safe there too, because I'll just put out an announcement. I don't really want to start over at Twitch. There's not a super clear path, even though Twitch added a thing to try to make a super clear path as far as how you get to being partnered or affiliated with Twitch at all. I kind of wonder if a lot of the multi-channel networks also have already tightened their rules so that you couldn't join one of them, or if YouTube has tightened their rules so that they've kicked out all the multi-channel networks. They could have done that a long time ago and people not even realize it. So really just the saga goes on, and let's move on with the news. Veterans from Naughty Dog, Visceral Games, Monolith, Sledgehammer Games, and more assemble for the Avengers project development team. So Crystal Dynamics, the makers of the Tomb Raider reboot, have hired a lot of other, almost say that they are kind of all in the same area, I suspect. I bet they're all in Montreal, and they're all friends, and they all, I think, mostly into let's go ahead and return this guy. Yeah, I think they're all kind of more focused on what would you call it? PlayStation programming over Xbox or PC programming. It's also possible some of these veterans worked for Naughty Dog, Visual, Monolith, Sledgehammer Games, and other companies. And whenever you get a title like this, it might be one employee who worked at Naughty Dog, one employee that worked at Visceral, but that is kind of a star-studded team of people who worked at star-studded companies that all now are kind of out of business. You could certainly spin it the other way and say a bunch of losers who drove their original companies into the ground are now working together to drive another company into the ground, but that's not really fair at all. Knowing how much turnover there is in the video game industry, even if you do a good job. The Avengers project is probably the most scary part about this announcement, though, and it's directly from Crystal Dynamics, this announcement, because that's where I think the ball will get dropped more than anything else, is just the fact that I don't feel like there's going to be a high chance of the Avengers being a good game. So I can't do anything there. So how about we see if we can do something here? You know what? I should have healed him. I'm being a poor partner here. This guy's still alive, so I can wear him down. This is taking way too long. Let's move on to the next piece of news. Let's see, there's a game called Atomic, A-T-O-M-I-K, Run Gun Jump Gun for Switch that's launching February 8th. It looks like an 8-bit 1001 Spikes style platformer game that I really have no interest in at all. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I needed that and that. He plays something that when he gets to 60 turns him back to 90 every time. The World of Goo creators have announced a new puzzle game called 7 Billion Humans. I'm gonna watch the trailer for that. It looks like a continuation of the human resources machine kind of mechanic, but all of their games kind of are in the same world, and it's telling this long drawn out story in the background of these games. The thing there though is World of Goo was a very different game than Human Resources Machine, and this doesn't feel like it's the same could be said. Let's see. Heal him. Yeah, I guess maybe they're just always going to be known as the World of Goo creator. And that makes sense too. A lot of people aren't going to turn into be happy with Human Resources Machine. Even as a person who has a programming background, and that was clearly a programming game, I can clearly see that Magnum Opus has done a better job of it, and Factorio probably did a better job of it, and I'm sure there's some specific semi-game, semi-educational things. 7 Billion Humans is a people-powered programming puzzle game set in a world ruled by machine. This is what the announcement says. You order office workers to complete tasks by treating them as variables in a unique programming language. Did I not play Human Resources Machine? This is the exact, just like a continuation. Like I'm starting to think I might have dreamed up the Human Resources Machine. Death Rattle resummon this. We'll just play that on that, so in case anything kills it. I could have played these two. There we go. Tavern Brawl done in extremely long. That was way too long and I've got to do that 2 more times. The only good news is that it took me so long to do that Tavern Brawl that we've got our other daily quests to do. I was going to mention, I suppose, that since I'm done with the game, the next game I'm going to try and play is... So win 2 games with the Druid and Hunter, and I can't hit X. So I'll probably just play Shaman and Warrior class cards. Let's see if we have a deck that's already built for Warrior class. Custom Warrior here. Is this full of Warrior class cards? Yes, it is. Good. Good to know. And play. Play. And since we're just trying to get the cards played, playing ranked makes more sense. Playing ranked wild doesn't make that much sense, but whatever. Let's go over to the Steam page for 7 Billion Humans. And because they'll have slightly more pictures than this thing. Yeah, it is just Human Resources Machine all over again. The difference, I suppose, is this time it's people. So maybe it's in an attempt to program threaded programming or parallel programming with multiple cores instead of a single threaded programming, which is what Human Resource Machine was. It doesn't really change the game too much, honestly. But I liked the previous version alright. So if this turns out to be really, really hard, that might be an issue. And they certainly can't make a third game in this series anytime soon. Because I don't know where you go from there other than effectively having people actually program. It really does feel like the only reason why this is coming out is because of Magnum Opus, which has been a big success. And I frankly, I'd prefer to play Magnum Opus. That looks like a more interesting thing. PC Gamer has basically just reposted an article I'm pretty sure they've already posted about how to use a PlayStation 3 controller on the PC. Long story short, it's gonna require you to install a bunch of things and do a bunch of configurations. Not really worth your time. Get a cheap wired Xbox 360 controller or even a Xbox 360 wireless receiver and use that. An off-branded one will even save you a few bucks there. It's slightly questionable, but who's winning and who's losing right now as far as Microsoft and Sony. But I wouldn't be super surprised if the PlayStation 5 came out, assuming one does come out, and it has a controller that looks almost exactly like an Xbox One controller, and the wars over controllers are only fought between Nintendo and everyone else, where Nintendo wants to do its random things. With the Joy-Cons and such, and everybody else just decides to stick with a pretty standard setup. Like, personally, I don't think the PlayStation controllers are adding too much. Maybe the light on the back makes a little bit of sense, but I think if you just put like an infrared bulb on the back, so that if you wanted a PS3i to see the controller, you could do that easily with an infrared bulb. And the touchscreen doesn't. Nobody knows how to program an interface to a touchscreen on a console, so that's kind of pointless. And then just the general button layouts are not great. Moving on, there's a game called Dandara that's launching for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and smartphones on February 6th. that is a lot of different things. Let's watch the trailer. It looks oddly drawn. It looks like a hand-drawn, like, low-resolution PC game. The majority of it, though, that is now that I'm actually seeing gameplay, is actually just 8-bit animation. 8-bit platformer with some kind of gravity feature where you stick to whatever wall you shoot yourself on. It doesn't seem like the character has a jump, and if you shoot yourself at an angle, the world will rotate. Seems like it is a fast-paced, approaching bullet hell style gameplay mechanic. And frankly, while it might be interesting to a lot of people, it's scaring me off as just being a very difficult platformer. Let's just play that and that, and then that. I just want to play cards, so I'm going to go ahead and do this, which is crazy. Seems like there might be some Metroidvania elements to this game, Dandara, too, but I don't see anything here that grabs my attention. I think it will grab some people's attention, but not mine. It seems like it's too fast-paced and too demanding. And I don't know maybe I'm just not in the mood for that or something, because that is really scaring me off more than it should. BioWare's Anthem likely won't be out until early 2019, according to a report, while it's still officially slated for 2018. This is a PC Gamer article. Whatever. I mean, games get pushed back all the time. I don't want to see the Western world adapt the Japanese mentality of pushing back games and then pushing back games and long delays of years. But BioWare has to get Anthem right, or they are going to have not only the failure of Mass Effect Andromeda on their in their recent history, but then the failure of Anthem. Meanwhile, they also are working on a new Dragon Age game, and since there's no release date at all for that Dragon Age game, if BioWare has two big AAA flops in a row, the whole company might be shut down before the next Dragon Age game is released. In fact, that's the exact next article. Is Mark Dara confirms that BioWare is working on a new Dragon Age game. We already know that, but now we really know for sure. Dragon Age, I don't know what its status really is on PC, so that's a question. Like, let's see, if I click Dragon Age Inquisition, is there a place where you can buy it? Dragon Age 2. So they're probably, let's see, available now, buy now. For PC, you can get it on Origin. So yeah, EA Origin might be holding up Dragon Age in a way that I'm not seeing it on Steam. And if that's the case, then I wouldn't go back and play the old Dragon Age games. I probably wouldn't go back and play the old Dragon Age games anyways, because they're going to be long RPGs, and if I'm going to go back and play a RPG that is set in a fantasy environment, why not do the DLC for The Witcher 3? Or better yet, since I've already purchased, I think, all the Witcher games, why not go back and play Witcher 1 or 2 and try and stay within lanes of things I've already played before? Valve, unsurprisingly, has appealed its $2.4 million fine in Australia. This fine is because Valve it intentionally excluded statutory guarantees and modified warranties. Really, I thought it was because it didn't have refunds. But I guess maybe it's a little bit more complicated than I thought it was. So Valve is probably going to still end up paying this $2.4 million fine, but they'll fight it in court right up until it stops making financial sense. I wanted to take a moment to, this is not super news about video games, it's just kind of news about news reporting on video games. Giant Bomb's been doing two series that are kind of weird. I've complained a lot in the past few months about Giant Bomb being kind of boring and not covering any video games and not doing quick looks, and that certainly has been the case, but they're kind of back in the fold now, back to games. They could have been covering games during the fall and winter months too, but they chose not to because they only really wanted to cover the biggest of the big, which arguably might mean that they're only getting paid by the AAA games to cover games, and they're not covering anything they're not getting paid to do, which I don't know if that's the truth or not, but it might be. So there are two new things that are on the mend with Ben. Now, Ben is the employee that they hired, I believe, a year ago, and he's had some kind of surgery on his feet that has had him in confined to a bed for a very long time, like 3 or 4 weeks in a cast. And it's kind of strange that they're forcing or even allowing an employee to work while they should be recovering. And certainly he was doing these little video recordings or audio recordings. Yeah, they were audio recordings. And like the first few of them, he was clearly being under the influence of pain medication. He was rambling. He was not doing quality production, which is for me to say a lot, because if anybody knows about not doing quality productions, it probably is me. The self-flagellating humor there. But it's very strange. Like, honestly, in most jobs, the right response, if Ben brought up this idea of making content while he was on medical leave, should be absolutely not. No way. That it violates law, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Ben has just violated some form of the disability laws and human resources rules at the very least by making this content, and it's not good content. And it seems very strange for them to do that. On the other hand, if Ben was going to have his own special series, they should have really given it to him a lot earlier, like a month or two into him being hired, and he was rehired because he had already worked for Giant Bomb when it was owned by Whiskey Media. So that seems very strange that now they're letting him do his own content. The other one is a little bit even stranger. Abby, who was hired around the time, if not at the exact same time as Ben, in almost either a continuation or an argument, or an attempt to be an argument against what she heavily pushed for during the Game of the Year awards, has started to play dating games. Which, one of my complaints about Abby's heavy push for Dream Daddy as one of the top 10 games of the year. At times it felt like she was actually pushing for it to be in the top 3, top 5 games of the year, just in total. One of my arguments against that is that Giant Bomb has never covered dating games before. So now that they're actually covering them, she's laying down the foundation for something like Dream Daddy to make rank higher in next year's Game of the Year, which is fair enough. However, right now, as far as what I've seen in episode 2, neither one of the games she's played have been Japanese. And if she just continuously, with every episode she plays of a dating sim, a visual novel dating game that's not a Japanese one, it is literally spitting in the face and making her look more and more Japanophobic with every turn. You've got to find one. Like, for decades, dating games and visual novel dating games have been 100% Japanese, Asian, at the very least. To only play dating games like Dream Daddy and find other dating games that are made by non-Asian people is ridiculous. It would be the equivalent if the people in the United States started a cricket league, cricket being a very popular game in many parts of the world, India, the UK, pretty popular around the world, except for the United States. So if the United States made a cricket league, and then they said, our cricket players are the best, our league is the best, and completely ignored and made no mention of all the other people who've been playing cricket for decades, if not hundreds of years. It's I guess it literally is cultural appropriation at a certain point. If you're covering visual novels dating games that are part of the Japanese culture and you're ignoring it completely, cultural appropriation, I guess, is the right term. So I guess I'm holding back judgment for now, since there's only been 2 episodes. But if she goes 4 or 5 episodes and she can't play Clannad, she can't find something out there, like that seems unrealistic. Game of Sutra has a former Metroid Prime developer looking back at the trilogy. The quote is, I think Metroid is a bit of niche IP, and that's totally fine. We could use more big games that aren't aimed at 90% of the market, but would going multi-platform be a big multiplier on sales? I doubt it. So I kind of disagree completely. I think if Metroid Prime, when it came out, was on the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, it would have sold 3 times as much. And I kind of, for a generation, would say the Prime series, while it is different from the original Metroid series, is not niche in any form or factor. But that certainly is an insight of the way I imagine Nintendo looks at the Prime series is that they don't consider it a a big seller like the Mario series or something that should come back. This is the former technical lead engineer Jack Matthews that said this. The technical lead engineer, his opinion is as valid as anyone else's, but I wouldn't put too much weight on it. And because it would be better if this was coming out of the mouth of somebody who was a producer of Metroid Prime games, saw the sales, saw the market research, had really any insight whatsoever. Because the technical lead engineer is just a person that's in charge of making the engine run. And for that matter, the Metroid Prime engine is kind of cool. It's a little unnecessary. You could make Metroid Prime 4 in the Unreal Engine and it will run just fine. But I'm sure. And maybe that'll help promote Metroid Prime 4 and 5 to better success. But I never really felt like any of the Metroid Prime series failed until you're talking like Metroid Prime Liberation. I don't even think it was a Prime. Maybe it was Prime 3. The one where Samus is in the Zero suit for the most part, and she's talking to a commander, and the commander keeps telling her she can't use certain things until she gets authorization, and so she's throughout the whole game feels like she's under the control of this male commander instead of being a space bounty hunter who's in charge of herself. PC Gamer has an article that says loot boxes aren't going away. GDC survey says. I don't think anybody was specifically thinking that they were going to go away. This is going to be a long day. This is going to be a long day. I'm just realizing that it's going to take forever to play all these cards. But again, this is one of those PC Gamer articles that is biased towards the video game industry to the point of actually hurting the video game industry, because we're not holding, they don't hold the creators to task, and instead support whatever garbage the marketing and PR departments of games creators say. So here's a nice image from the GDC survey, Game Developers Conference 2018. What games are you currently developing? What platforms are you currently developing games for? 60% of the respondents said PC. 36% is the next highest number for smartphones, tablets. Then 30% is PlayStation 4. And that is kind of a scary revelation, that to say smartphones and tablets have already surpassed the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, which is the next thing, at 26%. Of course, Macintosh still has a long way to go, because it's the next thing at 20% of the respondents are making something that runs on Macintosh. Now, I'm not sure how many respondents actually are making a PC version that will also run on Mac, and I'm not sure what the current status of parallels for Macintosh is, or dual booting on Macintosh is. So it may just be to the point where people with Apple hardware can run Windows anyway, so they're not making Mac versions. 19% are making something for the VR headset, where only 12% are making something for the Nintendo Switch. But looking at that number might be a little disadvantages, dishonest, because we've seen a lot of indie games that run on the PC getting later ported to the Switch. So uh, you have to look at these numbers from the perspective of what is your first launch consoles? What are the consoles that you absolutely have to have out on day one? And PC by far is the number, doubling the PlayStation 4 and everything above it. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I guess right now PlayStation 4 is still the console to go with. Xbox One closing the gap. Xbox One would have been successful and higher than PlayStation 4 if they hadn't had such a terrible launch with the Xbox One and always online DRM thing, which they're trying to reinvent and return to in a friendlier way, and we'll get to that story. Only 11% of the respondents are making something for Linux, which, gaming on Linux, I tried it. It's just never going to be there. Like, Linux is a little too random. Until all games are programmed using no developer kits, no SDKs, and no drivers, and they're just all doing some kind of open graphic language and open audio language, and everything just runs to the point where if you had a game on a CD and put it in a computer with no hard drive whatsoever, the game would still be able to run, basically. Until we get to a world like that, which we may very well never get to, I don't see a lot of Linux gaming happening. 11% also are making games for web browsers, which I don't know really what the state of that is. That feels like that's for really young kids, but even that doesn't make a lot of sense, because little kids would have phones and they could just play it on their phones. 10% of the people who filled out the survey said they're not applicable because they're not involved in development. 7% said they're making AR headset things. Now, what's interesting here is if we get down to 1%, that tells us that at least 100 people responded to the survey, which gives more credibility to the survey when you get the higher numbers. Of course, if everything is rounded up to 1%, then there could have been 1,000, 10,000, 1 million people that responded to the survey, and I wouldn't be able to infer any of that information. 4% say they're making a tabletop games, which that's an odd that's even being considered. 4% saying they're doing other. 3% say they're making Xbox 360 games, which is weird. 2% say they're making an Apple TV game. 2% saying they're making a PlayStation 3 game. 1% saying they're making a PlayStation Vita game. That's kind of strange too. I would have thought that there were more people making Vita games than PlayStation 3 games. 1% saying they're making voice-powered game. It's odd that this is even an option. But so we're gonna see a few games come out for like the Amazon Alexa and the Google Home and things. 1% saying they're making a Nintendo 3DS game. So apparently the message has gotten out. Don't make any more 3DS games. I would have thought there were more people making 3DS games than Vita games. And 1% saying they're making a Wii U games. I guess those are all 1%, so that they're tied. That's slightly interesting. Let's see. Ubisoft has unveiled a thing called Sam, a personal gaming assistant. It's a new addition to the Ubisoft Club. It's a Sam has two elements. By the looks of it, it provides personalized tips for you based on your profile. On loading up a game, it might point out you towards things you haven't yet tried in it. It also exists as a chatbot accessed via your phone. So it's like a fake friend, as best as I can tell. Alright, do I have a Shaman class card deck? Shaman 2, are you here? There you go, you're new. Yeah, Shaman 2 is all those things. Let's play some standard instead of playing wild while we're here. So let's watch this video and see if there's something in the video that would, even for a second, interest me. Like, oh, Ubisoft, to quote Jim Sterling. It's like, why not just make a game? Let's see. So you can ask it, like, how long have you played a game? And it'll bring up information about that, which that's kind of useless. I guess the idea here is they're trying to integrate Siri and Steam into something better. Tell me what my friend Xander is playing, and then it brings up an infogram. It's like, you can buy Steep. Isn't that the new cryptocurrency that DTube uses? I guess Steep might not be that new as a cryptocurrency. And apparently you can buy cryptocurrency through Sam and the Ubisoft store. You can search YouTube videos. So far, none of this seems like anything that you couldn't just directly integrate into Siri if it doesn't already exist. Except for, it seems like it's looking at what game you're playing and then tries to look up tips and trick YouTube videos and promote those videos. And I wonder if it's got a whole collection of Ubisoft only videos. Is this some kind of trick to help Ubisoft get more monetization and commercial ad revenue from YouTube? That's the only thing that even slightly looked odd is the idea. It's like, hey, we've seen you're playing this game and we assume you suck at a game, so why don't you try this? I don't know. Unless Ubisoft finds some other way to force people to install apps because of Uplay, I don't think anybody will install that. And I think the overhead on something like that is going to prove itself to be extremely, extremely high. See, that was a mistake. I should have killed this guy in case they come back and heal this one. PC Gamer has an article talking about 2 Point Hospital, the theme hospital successor. I was slightly interested in this, but I don't think it's out yet. Yeah, it's due out at some stage later this year, so this is one of those advertisement articles that doesn't benefit anybody until there's actually some information. Get this and this. And then the turn. So, in some sad news, the Twisted Metal creator David Jaffe has been forced to lay off the vast majority of his staff after an unannounced project is cancelled. What in the world were they creating is going to be the question, and it probably was a license of something, but a racing battle game doesn't seem like anybody would have a reason to license something like that, so I don't know what they were creating in the first place. Let's see. It's not clear what the studio was working on, genre, platform, or how far along the project was. Neither is it clear what the remaining non-gaming staff in the studio are up to. Wanted y'all to hear it from me. Here's a quote from Twitter. Wanted y'all to hear it from me before anyone else. We've had a project canceled and have been forced to lay. He had to squeeze a lot of stuff together, so he's using the number 2 and putting no spaces in between words. So those 280 character limit still not long enough, apparently. Been forced to lay off the vast majority of the Bartlett Jones staff gaming division. More news to come, but for now, that's what's up. Heartbreaking for the amazingly talented crew that's out of work. Frowny face, period. And you don't put a period after an emoji, because then you just make it look like a different emoji. It's not an emoji, it's just a semicolon in parentheses, or colon in parentheses. I'm thinking there's probably a better response, a better way to write that. That seems a little flippant, but that may just be the way he talks too, and people may know that that's the way David Jaffe talks. Jaffe is best known as creator of Twisted Metal and the director of the first 2 God of War games. Okay, so it almost seems like for sure that it was a God of War game, but that doesn't make sense because I seriously doubt that the next God of War game was canceled. So maybe he was working on a side project for God of War, or the game after the next God of War game. And in 2014, Jaffe founded Bartlett Jones, his own studio, and developed cell shade arena shooter Drawn to Death, and launched it in 2017 as a free-to-play plus game to mixed reviews and a short shelf life. Like, honestly, I would suspect that the layoffs have more to do with Drawn to Death's failure, and then maybe you can contextualize it in a way to say Drawn to Death's failure canceled the other game. So, yeah, more people getting laid off in the video game industry. That happens all the time. So I mentioned it earlier, Xbox is trying to redo what it kind of wanted to do when it first released the Xbox One, with the constant online, always online DRM products. They're trying to accomplish a lot of that in a very less evil way, to quote Eurogamer, with the Xbox Games Pass. So the Games Pass is, I believe, $120 a year, like $10 a month. So it's trying to be like a Netflix of video games, and up to this point, the Games Pass has been older games, Xbox 360 games and like 4-5 month old games that came out for the Xbox One. However, now they've tried to beef that up by saying that all the first party games released for the Xbox One will now day one be free if you have Xbox Games Pass. Which is to say, if Microsoft releases two first party games in a year, you would be getting those two games for free, and it would cover the cost, the value of that $120 game. The $120 annual fee of being in the Games Pass. Assuming a game is worth $60, if two of them is $120, that's the idea there. Plus, you're getting all the old games, which this almost seems like it's an attempt to put GameStop out of its misery yet again. Fair enough. And one could easily see that if this did put GameStop out of business and there was really no place to sell used games and buy used games, then that price could slowly creep up. We've seen the price creep up on Netflix a couple times, to the point where at some point it is very possible that Netflix membership is $30, $40, $50, $60 a month just for Netflix, depending on how much content they have on there. That may still be a good deal. But that's a problem for the future. For now, it's kind of a good deal. Assuming you keep the games when you cancel the service. It might kind of suck if you lose the games after you cancel the service. That wouldn't work too well. It also really requires Microsoft to have first party games come out at least twice a year, and that's a little questionable in itself, because like I'm not really interested in playing Sea of Thieves. I'm not certain Crackdown is coming out whenever Microsoft says it's coming out, because it's been pushed back. If there's a new Fable game, who's to even say that that would be a Microsoft exclusive at this point? That's another thought, certainly, is that there may be very few Microsoft exclusives. But it's something to keep Microsoft's name in the press. It's something to what am I trying to say? Something to keep in mind. One assumes with the Games Pass that you have to be online to play for some kind of verification, but it might be you only have to check in once every month or so. None of that's been mentioned at all. You may not have to check in at all. You may simply be verified when you download something, and once it's downloaded, it's good to go. There may be literally no revocation ability on Microsoft's chance, which opens the door to somebody getting an Xbox One, getting Game Pass, downloading a bunch of games, filling up the hard drives, then either getting rid of the Xbox Gold that lets you play online. That is still around, and that's slightly confusing and still slightly insulting, that you're paying $60 a year to play online on top of paying $300+ for a console, whereas a PC person may be paying more for a PC, particularly these days with the crypto miners running up the prices of video cards. But I pay exactly 0 to Valve each year to play online, and that's the way it should be. Well, since I know this is going to be a long stream, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Asian account and not try to do all three. Let's see. And look, it wants to update right now. Move over to the Asian account. There is, with the Xbox Games Pass, giving you games and overlap, because Xbox Gold was also giving you 2 free games every month. And so clearly Xbox Gold was experimenting with this, and then they made this new service, the Games Pass, and then they need to probably just transition all of Xbox Gold into the Games Pass thing, and probably save the Xbox Gold name. See, 30 minions that cost 5 or more, win 2 games with Paladin Priest, 2 or less. Great, I have directly conflicting 40 gold quests right now. First things first, Tavern Brawl. But there's very little right now to complain about the Xbox Games Pass. It's, on the face of it, a good offer, a better offer. And they're selling it well, at the very least. Apparently, according to Eurogamer, a much needed FIFA 18 patch has stamped out kickoff goals. So I always kind of wondered about this in soccer, since I don't watch soccer. Can you make a goal at the kickoff? Because I kick from a corner that's the sort of angle of the... It's really close to one of the goalposts. It seems like if you could get some spin and the goalkeeper wasn't paying attention, you could score. But I think you usually would be scoring on yourself, but maybe not. I assume this is soccer. It's FIFA, yeah. So, yeah, seeing a story about a patch about FIFA means nothing to me, so I'll just move on. Well, this is gonna do 9 damage to your hero regardless, so sorry, bud. I'll do the best I can, but a Blaze Blue cross-tag battle producer has discussed the lack of arcade version and DLC pricing. Let's see what he says. The most notable tidbits here. This is a Game Sutra article, and they don't particularly quote people. I guess maybe because they're translating it from Japanese. If there is support for it, they would buy it. They would like it to continue in the series. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle is a home console and PC game as opposed to an arcade game, mainly because they wanted to get rid of the situation where there would be a gap between an inability between overseas and Japanese players. In other words, Japanese players would get it in arcades first, giving them time to practice. That's an interesting choice. It's an interesting... Oh, I should have attacked. That was stupid of me. The game is being made under the premise of playing with a gamepad. By releasing the main game at a lower cost for 5,800 yen, for the physical version, which is about $60. So that's a lower cost in Japan, but normal. As many people as possible will be able to play, and those that find it interesting can purchase the downloadable content. But if it's assumed that the players have to play with the joypad, an arcade fight stick, which is what he... No, he said gamepad. Oh, interesting. So it's not being designed for people playing with an arcade fight stick. It is being set up so that even if you purchase all of the downloadable content, the price will not exceed what a full game would normally cost. Okay, so that's probably a translated response to from the director. Let's see. I don't want to do anything with any of these. Like, I literally don't want to play any of these cards right now. So, whatever. Dragon Ball Fighter Z, or no, Dragon Ball Fighters, is actually being on the BlazBlue engine, and it's getting a lot of coverage. A lot of people seem to be very happy with it, and it has pushed me over the edge. So I think I would like to play Dragon Ball Fighters. Like, it sounds like it's a good time to get into it. If they continue, and in 2 to 4 years there's another good Dragon Ball game, that I'd be cool with that too. Let's see. I guess this guy can be helpful. Maybe I should start powering him up. Let's see. Yeah, so I've been motivated now. Of course, I don't have the funding for that. So that's just really where this channel is going to go. Is I think I'm going to start making downright commercials, commercial videos when there is a summer sale. And I might make a couple of them, like, depending on how things work. Alright, so if we do this, I can't do anything else. I'm not gonna win at this rate. I need this guy healed. Atari is looking to equity crowdfunding for the Roller Coaster Tycoon Switch release, which seems insane. And this page has crashed, so I'm not even going to be able to read it. But yeah, that's a weird thing. Is Roller Coaster Tycoon the same company that makes The Sims, or is that a different company? Let's see. This and this and this and attack and attack and then the turn. I really do wonder if my channel's failure is heavily influenced, or lack of success, I guess, don't just call it a failure, is heavily influenced by the fact that I'm just not doing any custom, like, custom thumbnails at all. Like, but then when you start going down that path, it's like, well, why don't I do custom thumbnails and spend a lot of time on that and hire an artist because I'm not an artist, and I don't know where I'd be paying these artists from, but whatever. Let's see. Two bananas to your hand. Banana. Banana. Let's go ahead and attack with this one. And then attack with this one. And then attack with this one. And then the turn. Yeah, the Steam Lunar New Year sale will reportedly return in February. So, like, I don't really have a reason to do a video right now, I guess. And like, let's see. The Lunar New Year sale didn't happen in 2017, but it is going to happen in 2018, so... Like, there's too many Steam sales, honestly, but if that's the way this channel's going to get monetized, or I'm just going to find a way to reduce the expenses of this channel, that'll work for me, I suppose. No, it won't. Let's not fool ourselves. I'm gonna make these e-begging sites and e-begging videos, and then people are gonna complain about it and whine, and just call me a shill. Oh, here's the problem. This needs to be healed, or... Oh, I'm gonna kill this one too. The game My Time in Portia is available in Steam Early Access. I think we'd already talked about that. Nintendo has hired the creator of the indie shoot 'em up Downwell. I don't know if you'd really call it a shoot 'em up. He is Ojiro Mupini Fumoto. So that sounds Japanese if I'd ever heard it as far as the name, which makes me heavily suspect that Nintendo of Japan hired him. A lot of critical response liked Downwell. I did not like it as a game at all. Like, I didn't get what it was going for, apparently, or something. Something about it certainly didn't catch my attention. This guy has to heal. I can't attack. I guess there's really nothing else that you can say about that. It's just Nintendo hired a guy. Other than the fact that Nintendo did come out and say that they specifically try to not hire people that are just obsessed with video games. I think there's something lost in translation there. I think what they probably meant to say is they try not to hire video game otaku, people who make 100% of their life about video games and are so obsessed about that. And they want people that have varied interests in the job, which is generally a good idea for everybody. to, but I don't know how you specifically say that in English when most people don't even know what otaku means. And it means something slightly different in Japan than it does in the West. Because in Japan, it's an offensive insult, and in the West, it's more of a loving, self-referential term. Let's see, restore 8 health to enemy hero. Let's see, moving on. Still got a ton of news, but it's going to be a slow day with a lot of just, like, man, this is 50% probably me and 50% this Tavern Brawl, because this Tavern Brawl it's a killer. It's just a straight up killer. As far, let's see, I don't want to hit anything. I just want to keep going. Just play characters. A Sentimental Graffiti 20th anniversary Twitter account has been launched. Sentimental Graffiti is a love simulator that was first released on the Sega Saturn in 1996 in Japan. Let's see. Says go look at the Wikipedia article if you want to know more about the game. The one thing I would want to know is, are these games, what age are they rated at? Like, it's a full multimedia thing with anime series, radio dramas, doujin games, several doujin games that have been made on the character, including the infamous sentimental scrolling shooter, which contains a very engaging and difficult shoot 'em up with provocative imagery. Wikipedia is cleaning things up over here. This and I've got it. I can do. No, I can't do it yet. I've got to do this just right. We gotta play just right here. This one. And then this. Then this. Then this. Then this. And I guess that worked. Let's see. I guess this game just kind of never came out in the US though. Like, I'm not seeing any pictures or anything like here. So this really may be just a nostalgia play for Japanese audiences with the 20th anniversary of Sentimental Graffiti. If it came to PC, which I almost certainly would have to, because if it was a either that or it's getting re-released on PlayStation or something. It's not coming to the Xbox almost certainly. It probably wouldn't even be worth playing other than if I did more research and found out that it was more historically important than I think it is. As a Westerner who's never heard of it, that tells me something right there. I would be much more lenient on playing something like Clannad, which at least I've heard of that one. Let's see, we're playing as the Asian account right now, so we don't fiddle with any goldens. So another pack. The next thing to do is we need Paladin or Priests, and we need something with either a bunch of 2s or a bunch of 1s. There is a Murloc here that would be a bunch of 1s, so we'll play this Murloc deck and try to get some victories. Yeah, that's our best bet. If I can get 2 victories on the Asian account and play a bunch of Murloc characters that cost 2 or less at the same time. So we'll play on casual, we'll play on casual standard, and play. There's a new Humble Bundle out. I'll talk about it later. I, for some reason, opened an article talking about that. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen is very cheap on Steam right now, according to PC Gamer. That seems like that's more of an advertisement. Very cheap being $10 instead of the $29.99, which honestly I don't fully agree with that being super cheap. Like a lot of these games, even games like this that I think is from 2016 and thus is only a couple of years old, the $5 bargain bin type stuff. There's just so much variety. It is devalued in my mind, at least, the games. And I have way more time than I have money right now, so that's an issue too. There's according to PC Gamer, there's a gorgeous real-time strategy card game hybrid called Golem Gates coming this March. Let's watch the trailer on this and see what it's all about. I'm watching an intro animation and it looks cool. Wait a minute. I thought this was a card game, but it looks more like Diablo. That's a heck of a hybrid game you've got there. Is it kind of like a tower defense game or like one of those MOBA games where you're just constantly spawning enemies? Did I misread the title? Gorgeous real-time strategy card game hybrid. No, I didn't misread that. Well, when I look at something like this and I'm just left with confusion, I guess I'll have to hold judgment until later. Because right now it definitely feels like this could be anything. I got no information from that. Let's see. You can get an Xbox One controller for $40 if you're going to Amazon, according to PC Gamer. Which, that's nice, because I do think the Xbox One controller is a little bit better. I was thinking, though, it needs to get to the point, I think, where we evolve from the 4-directional D-pad into something that can switch between a 4-directional D-pad into an 8-directional D-pad. The analog sticks probably also need to be changed on the next generation of controllers in a way that they are more sensitive to more angles. I suppose that's kind of the only thing you could do is have the next generation of controllers just way more sensitive, and you'd probably have to slowly increase the sensitivity over several generations so people didn't recognize that. I'm not sure how many different angles of movement you really can get out of a analog stick on the Xbox One controller. It's probably quite a lot. Recently, just for fun, I've been looking at how you would make a virtual pinball table. So an actual pinball size pinball machine, but a TV in it running Pinball Arcade and Pinball FX. And one of the things is the plunger, to pull back and release the plunger and shoot the ball. You can either wire that to a button, which is kind of boring, or you can pay, it seems, at least $150 to buy a plunger that has a sensor that you put on top of it that can tell you the exact angles and how much you're pulling the plunger back. And it generally seems like it also comes with a nudge detector, so that you can nudge the whole system. And $150 seems a lot to me, but heck, if you want the full experience and you're not willing to try to build something from scratch directly, it probably is. It seemed like there was only 2 people that even made it, these virtual pinball plungers. So it's a very niche product. But yeah, it does feel like you'd spend, excluding the price of the TVs, it feels like you'd probably spend $600 to $1,000 building a virtual pinball machine. Where in comparison you could probably spend $800 to $1,000 to buy an actual pinball machine, and that would work better for you. The only thing I could imagine is maybe you could find a good deal at a pinball show or something to buy just the case, like just the wood case of a pinball machine, and then haul that off at a cheaper price than $250, and that would get you halfway there, and then you would only have to retrofit a TV into it and reconnect the controllers to things, depending on what parts of the case are actually for sale. And sometimes they do just sell the internal parts, the play field and the back art of pinballs for parts. So there might be some cases for sale, but I'm not sure that they may actually use all the cases. The composer of FTL has a column, and apparently he is working for PC Gamer now. And so he's got his first article in this column is "Sometimes games are better without music," which is kind of funny. So this is Ben Prunty. His first article is like, sometimes games just are better without music. Totally true. Of course, most games and most scenes in games are better with music. Depending on whether you know what to play. This reminds me a lot of that YouTube video that came out about a year ago, where they just showed how all the music in the Avengers movies is just random music that has no effect or doesn't improve scenes at all, and how just better choices or silence would have been the better choice. all things in moderation, I suppose, is the right thing to say. It's like probably if you're wise enough to have a good music piece and know when to use it. There's been plenty of times when I played games and it's just looped and gone in circles. Denuvo, the creator of the Denuvo anti-tamper software, has been acquired by the cybersecurity specialist IRDETO. I guess that's Erdeto. So maybe that's the end of Denuvo being in video games. Good riddance, I think most people would say. I think even the people who like Denuvo, the suits in video game management, were getting tired of Denuvo because it really wasn't working the way it was selling itself to work, and games were getting cracked, and games were getting cracked on day one before the release in the first month. Hardly the 6 months plus that they were selling themselves as. Ditto, by the way, was the company that tried to force Overwatch porn offline. Ditto says the acquisition will enable the market to grow for an anti-piracy services. So I guess maybe they plan to still do the stuff that they were doing. I thought they were going in a completely different direction. That's kind of a shame. I was hoping they would go in a completely different direction. Like the Overwatch porn offline stuff, I believe, was people using the actual 3D models from Overwatch and posing those 3D models in porn, because parodies certainly exist and there's no way those were going anywhere. Gamma Sutra has an article about somebody theoretically building a competitor to Steam, and the first title of the first paragraph is "Don't," and the second title is "Being better isn't good enough." I think this might be a parody article. Frankly. And then at the bottom of this article, they list all of the different places you can get games. So in case there was any question on why there shouldn't be yet another storefront, there's Steam, there's Good Old Games, there's Amazon, there's Blizzard, there's Origin, there's Tencent, there's the Humble Store, and there's Itch. And that's not including any key sellers. That's not including anybody that's also a storefront but selling only a small number of games. Let's see. That's just a picture. The Guild of War 2's developers donated thousands to help a fan rebuild after a house fire. $3,500 to a fan's crowdfunder page after a fire consumed everything but a copy of her collector's edition of Nightfall, an expansion for Guild Wars. That is a ridiculously low amount of money. Not that it's the Guild War 2's developers' job to donate anything, and in all honesty, they shouldn't have even donated that much, because that just is going to have everybody coming to their door with their hand out. But if you're going to donate and you have the perception of being a big company with a lot of money, you can't come out and say, I gave only $3,500 to somebody who has literally lost, if they burn their house down, minimum $100,000 if your house is burnt down. Even if you have a bad house, like minimum $100,000 donation needed to come out of that. Probably close to $500,000. And that's just more reason why I say that you shouldn't donate to those things. Spellbinder, we'll go ahead and kill Spellbinder. This guy. This is almost the exact same story as the programmer who died in Shadow of War, and they tried to sell DLC to make the fans support the person who died, and botched that all up. Apparently there's this comedy survival game called SOS that's now in early access, and Snoop Dogg was streaming it. Which, I mean, does that just mean every game should be played because Snoop Dogg tries it? That if I'm selling a game, do I just go give the free copy to Snoop Dogg? I'd like to know more about this game SOS, and less about watching 3 different Twitch streams of Snoop Dogg playing it. Let's see. Here we go. Early access. SOS is an interactive game with 16 entertaining performers are dropped into the Lacuna Island with one simple cue: get off the island. So it's kind of like a Battlefront, PUBG type thing, but just get off the island. Keep playing these things. Players must find a relic, signal for extraction, and grab a spot on the rescue chopper while outthinking opponents and fending off monster hordes. This seems like some random combination of ideas. Is the idea that it's like 16 actors who are used to being in action movies are going to be left on an island and they have to escape, and it's like, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here type thing? I think that might be part of this. But also, it seems like the characters talk to each other and they high five, and sometimes they just shoot each other, and sometimes they have to attack monsters, signal the copter, and only 3 survive. So this is trying to be something like a celebrity survival too. Like, yeah, this game literally makes no sense at all. Like, no sense whatsoever. And let's see, what is the rating on this game while it's in early access? I guess it doesn't even matter what the rating is. It's very positive according to reviews, but it doesn't even matter because I can tell you already this game is going to fall apart before it gets to it really is just going to fall apart before it gets to release. I don't know how much I should mention this, but I'm thinking PewDiePie is starting drama / Uh, he's starting drama / joking with his friend Jack's film, and people aren't completely in on the joke. And frankly, this is the cancer that has been YouTube cancer from the beginning, is that the people that make drama and the people that are not doing serious things and they're not creating artistic, like, original content that isn't reactionary to something else, which, to be fair, even my content is reactionary to video games. So I'm not really excluding myself in this definition. That stuff gets viewed and it gets spread around by the YouTube recommendation algorithm. So PewDiePie's got a video called "Stealing My Content," where he jokingly claims Jack's Films is stealing his content when, best as I can tell, with permission, PewDiePie is actually stealing Jack's Films content or parroting it. And that's got a lot of people upset. Meanwhile, channels like mine are still getting kicked off YouTube and my videos aren't getting recommended to people. Maybe it is inherently that the world just loves to watch the drama and they don't want better quality content. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it is just a supply and demand thing. I don't know. But I find it disappointing now that both contents aren't allowed to coexist and earn a fair share on YouTube, and yet PewDiePie's kind of clickbaitish, like his videos are sort of clickbaitish and just, drama stuff is celebrated and allowed. That's not all he does, but it is a lot of what he does. Moving on, Linux creator Torvalds, what is his first name? Linus Torvalds, yes. Has bashed Intel over really bad Meltdown and Spectre patches, which Intel has done a terrible job on that. I think I may have already talked about this, but it seems like Intel specifically was trying to not enable the patches by default and make the kernels of each operating system ask if they wanted the security patches enabled, therefore they can still sell the CPUs at the same speeds and make more money and look like they're the good guys, even though they are clearly the bad guys because they made the mistake. Samsung has refreshed its SATA solid-state drive line with the 860 and 860 EVO SSD, which, okay, so I have like an 840 or an 850, I imagine, or maybe a 940 or 950. At a certain point, I don't think the SSDs are going to be able to stay on the SATA 3 interfaces without going up to the 6 gigabits per second connectors, and so that'll be a consideration about, like, do you go to the kind of big 2 SATA 3 gigabit connector to make a 6 gigabits per second connector for one SSD, or do you just put everything on the M2 sticks? And I think you probably want to put everything on the M2 sticks, except for then if you have to fit it on an M2 form factor, it's probably going to be more expensive. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a certain point where you just plug a regular 2.5-inch hard drive into an adapter that goes into an M2 connector. Let's see if we can get a victory here. It's been kind of a weird day. Like, slow. It feels very slow. Which I guess is fine because I was already planning on mostly taking this day off after this stream. Here we go. Here's that Atari crowdfunder campaign again. Let's see. Atari launched a crowdfunding campaign on Start Engine platform, which I've never heard of, seeking between $10,000 and $1.07 million to bring a new entry into the roller coaster tycoon series to the Switch. Let's see. So, yeah, and there's no real even talk here of the equity, because that was the thought here. I thought was that you would invest and participate is straightforward. Invest any amount in the campaign between $250 and you'll earn a prorate share of 50% of the profits until you've made 120% of your original investment. So you are capped immediately in the amount of profit you can make. This is a terrible investment. Like, you can barely go over double your money. Let's see. I think God of War has a new release date, but I don't have it. Let's see. I only need to play a few more cards and then we're here. It's been a quiet Wednesday too. It's like nobody's on. Nobody's chatting. That kind of sucks. Mojoing will talk about 2018 Minecraft updates at the PC Gamer Weekender, which is a PC Gamer meetup. There have been a couple of things integrated into the Java edition to basically just merge the titles and names, but I don't think it was major features or anything. Another wave of Gen 3 creatures have been added to Pokemon Go. If anybody's still playing Pokemon Go, there's nothing really more to say about that. Rock Paper Shotgun says NVIDIA's GeForce Now PC beta is much better at cloud gaming than you think. Okay. I'm not sure who is the real participant in a cloud gaming service like that. I imagine it's people that have laptops and underpowered PCs. And maybe people that want to play video games at their work and can get away with that. Like, maybe you can't install all kinds of things because your hard drive's really small, but you can install the NVIDIA Go client and play games through that. There's a job listing here. I think we'll skip that. There's an article here that I was gonna read about how they run Awesome Games Done Quick, but I'm gonna skip that. More job listings, and then Humble Bundle. That's what I wanted to get to. So we've got a new Humble Bundle, and this is probably the only thing I will buy in the next 3 or 4 months is Humble Bundle things. So Paradox Interactive Bundle for $1 you will get Cities in Motions, Magicka 2, and Majesty 2 collection. So Magicka 2 might be a good deal, but you do have the caveat of wanting to have other people that play with you. Like you really don't want to play Magicka 2 by yourself. You may not even be able to. If you pay above the average of $7.31, which is high already, you get Crusader Kings 2 and the old, what is it? The old something DLC. Let's see, can we click that? No. You get Pillars of Eternity, you get Hearts of Iron 3 collection, and Europa Universalis 3 complete. And then if you pay 12 or more, you get Stellaris. Okay, so this is a bundle I'm not willing to buy for myself. If people wanted me to play any of these games, this would be a fine bundle at the middle range. I think paying an extra $5 for Stellaris is probably paying about average, so it's still a decent deal, but it's not anything particularly special. But none of these games I think I own. You'd have to friend me on Steam to be certain and just compare and try and gift all of these Steam codes to me through like Twitter. But that's kind of the only way I'd get this, and that's kind of me shilling, and that's how it's gonna be, I guess. Going forward, is I've now become a shill for everything. Let's go back to, let's see, go back to Twitter and see where we are. I didn't break up this recording, so this is an extremely long recording. I know that, but I didn't really have interest in making 2 recordings on this today. Eventually that's gonna stop. Eventually I'm gonna probably start releasing videos daily, and instead of taking the weekends off. And when I start doing that, Hearthstone is specifically going to suffer. Well, apparently the Banner Saga 3 is due out this summer. Let's see if there's an actual date here. Let's see. Nope, it just says summer 2018. I'm surprised how fast the Banner Saga is coming out as a series, but I also kind of feel like it is one of those games that simply is just not as popular as the video game journalists seem to make it. That game Celeste is coming out tomorrow on Steam. That was a weird one, if I'm recalling correctly. Let's see. I saw somebody do a fan art of The Binding of Isaac, where the characters that you play, including Isaac and the other characters, were drawn as just kind of teenage comic book kids. And you know, that was an interesting twist on it. There's a lot of fan art that just kind of expands what the artistic style of The Binding of Isaac is, and I think going the other direction, going, what if this was a real people? I mean, you'd have to put them in completely different scenarios at that point, because there's just not any way that would work. There we go. We are done with our Asian account now. And we'll see if I switch any of that out later. And let's move over to our American account. I can't believe we're still talking and we're on the American account. We'll try to get one game played on the Tavern Brawl. Let's see, I'm scrolling down Twitter to see if there's been any new news. What had happened on the Bombcast? Like, I listened to the Bombcast literally yesterday, and I don't remember anything they talked about. It seems like they were mostly talking about ROMs. Murlocs are all I really need to play on this account, so after I get the Tavern Brawl done, I can just play a bunch of Murlocs. Apparently somebody's making a costume quest animation of something from Daily Emotion. The picture that is and I guess that's also Amazon Studios that's involved, because they mentioned Double Fine and Amazon Studios. The animation style doesn't look anything like the characters from Costume Quest, and the characters in there don't look like they are the characters from Costume Quest either. But maybe it is the same characters from the first game, and it just doesn't make any sense. How far can you take the concept of Costume Quest? I don't know. Like, they were stretching it to make a game out of it. You're really gonna have to stretch it to even go a season. Because it's just trolls are stealing your candy and you're fighting Drusilla. So you're gonna have to do that standard kids cartoon thing where Drusilla is the bad guy in almost every episode and thinks of some new scheme to steal candy. Let's continue to scroll down and see if anything else new is here. System builders and OEMs recall botched Intel Spectre patches. That the thing about that makes me wonder, since Gigabyte doesn't really put out patches that fast, I kind of wonder if maybe they never put out a patch in the first place, and that's why I haven't seen any significant slowdown in my PC. Although that's pretty scary if I just installed a regular Windows update and I lost 2% of my performance, which is what I saw. Because, oh man, does that mean every time you install an update you're losing a couple percentage in your performance until your computer just runs like garbage? Yeah, I'd believe that, actually. There's a game called Rune Ragnarok that has a trailer. Let's see. Let's watch this pre-alpha trailer. There's no such thing as something pre-alpha, and this does not look pre-alpha graphics, but whatever. Words had meaning. I can't even say words have meaning anymore. It's they used to. I swear the words used to have meaning. What happened to that game where you played as a dragon? I guess they're still working on that. I guess there's a lot of games like that I've seen trailers for, and then they get forgotten, and then 2 years later they come out again. Well, in this game you play as Vikings fighting giant trolls, giant wolves, giant dragons. So I can't say I hate that. You fight other Vikings on boats. Like, since this is all just animated concept art, there's nothing objectionable about what I see. The idea is good, at the very least. Well, I don't even know what to do. this Tavern Brawl is so slow because there are specific turns where you shouldn't do anything. Or I guess maybe I should have done something and I just am too stupid to figure it out. I think that might have been very much the case in that instance. Continue. Here's a game called Slay the Spire. PC Gamer article. Slay the Spire is a brilliant genre mashup with the third act problems. Seems like it's a card battler, turn-based RPG mix. With also conversation or pick your reward things. It looks very much like it's trying to be Hand of Fate when we already have Hand of Fate. So, but it's rated overwhelmingly positive. It's a deck building game where you fight monsters. Endless relic combinations. You know, I would actually play this game. This one's gonna go in my wish list because, like, the graphics don't look great, and it probably isn't a like forever style game where I play it forever. I'll probably just play it once or twice, look at the achievements. Maybe there'd be an achievement out there that would motivate me to do a little bit more. It seems like there's 4 paths you can take, and you work your way up these 4 different paths, or whichever one you choose to get to the top. That's a surprising game. I haven't heard anything about it. Is it early access even? Yes, it is an early access game, so I wouldn't want to play it or touch it yet, but like when that comes out, that game might have some steam. No pun intended. Let's continue scrolling down. Hearthstone aired an hour ago. I think Twitter is having some problems because I have like mentions in my notification panel for conversations I'm not involved in. So either somebody somewhere mentioned me and I can't even see it because it's not showing me the right thing. Or I'm seeing somebody else's mentions, which, okay, that might be it too. Battle cries triggered twice. Let's see. This. And that. I may have played poorly there. A court rules illegal bot makers must pay 1.3 million to Twitch. Ooh. But The creator of Regency Solitaire and Shadowhand has jokingly tweeted that he's making blockchain solitaire, like a cryptocurrency solitaire game. YouTube advertisers is tweeting a lot of non-related things to what's going on YouTube, as they pretty much always do. Ghost Recon Wildlands is getting loot boxes. Great. YouTube creators is tweeting a lot of things not related to kicking people out of the YouTube partner program. They're really just going to sweep it over, and I'm really just going to constantly bring it up over and over again. It's like, that's kind of how it's going to go. It's like I'm not going to be happy until they make a full reversal and an apology at this point, and they're never going to do that. I've been streaming for 3 hours, which I guess that means we are back to where we were as far as Twitter. I got a new follower on Twitter, which doesn't mean that much, and somebody liked my tweet, which doesn't mean that much either, because you know those things are kind of mostly bots. Which means, I guess now that we're done with Twitter, let's see, this bonkers looking arcade shooter called Pawarumi is coming this month, January 30th. Let's watch the trailer and see what that's all about. I could do... Can't do that. I can do this. Let's see. Like, I cannot play any of this. This is the problem. It's like, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you're done. I wasn't even watching the trailer of Pawarumi. It looks insane, you're right. But it also, in a weird way, is a slightly different twist on bullet hell shooters, because the gun has some really crazy styles of weapons that do patterns and shoot in different directions. So it's still not something that would interest me, but if you were a fan of bullet hell shooters and you played them all, Pawarumi is an interesting twist on it. So a California judge has ordered illegal bot makers to permanently shut down their operation and pay Twitch a total of $1.3 million, roughly speaking. I'm not going to bother to say the full amount there. One assumes that filed $55,000 worth of damages were, and while the remaining 1.3 is the profits the duo made after the business, off their business selling Twitch view bots. So there's money in making Twitch view bots. Clearly there's people out there paying for that. Let's try this and see what this happens. The ruling comes as good news for streamers who work fairly toward being accepted in the Twitch partnership program, as view bots artificially inflate the apparent view count, follower count, and chat activity on the Twitch channel. You know, to form a fair opinion about this, I probably should know what the requirements as far as views and followers is to be in the Twitch partnership program. Like, at the core of it, I don't particularly agree with any kind of gatekeeping. I think if one viewer watches my video, whatever tiny millionth of a penny I should have gotten if an ad had run, I should have gotten because an ad should have run. So I'd be fine. Like, same with my YouTube channel. I was kind of fine with getting the millionth of the penny for the people who were watching my my channel and my videos, because that felt like that was fair. Ads were running on everybody who wanted ads to run on, and people that watched did that. I kind of understand what they're trying to do with the gatekeeping to keep scammers out, but if Twitch is having to go to court to stop view bots and fake followers, that pretty much tells you Twitch is failing, and they're not automating the process. And same is true for YouTube. They are failing to keep the fake views out, and they always will be, probably. I guess there's really nothing else to say other than Ghost Recon Wildlands is getting loot boxes. So at a certain point, I suppose I will start playing old games and do retrospectives on old games that have had loot boxes added to them, and that will potentially drastically change what my channel's, or what my feelings about things are going to be. Alright, so we want to do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and let's do this one, and then this one. Let's see, then I end my turn. Assault Gunner's HD edition has been rated for the Switch in Taiwan. Boy, does that look like a terrible, like, Gundam ripoff game. And if it's only been rated for Taiwan, I suspect it's not coming out for any other service. It's been one of those laid back days. I guess it's nice to get back to one of those laid back days though, and not have everything just constantly going back to YouTube problems, although it constantly did. I'm getting better, is the best I guess I can say. I'm slowly getting better. Well, I can't win here, so I'm pretty much hoping that he can find some way to do 90 damage. Let me think. Was there something else? Battlefront 2 allegedly is suffering badly. Like, nobody wants to play it. Nobody's happy with it. No, I wouldn't be That seems legit to me as far as an article. Like, maybe I'll just... Yeah, I did think I had 2 or 3 articles on my phone. Apparently there will be no open world in Dragon Quest XI because they were afraid casual players wouldn't know. I guess that's a bit of editorializing, but they're afraid players wouldn't know what to do next. And since Dragon Quest is being designed, I guess, for the fans of the Dragon Quest series, they would know. Reddit now has 2-factor authentication, by the way, so you might want to set that up. It's a shame more sites don't set that up quicker. Let's see, yeah, we already talked about BioWare, hard at work. Toys R Us is closing several of its stores, which means if there's a Toys R Us near you in the United States, there might be some sales. Maybe not. It depends on if they're just going to ship the thing you're looking for to another store, or if they're going to decide to take a loss on it. One would imagine that larger ticket items such as bicycles that take up more space would be something that goes on sale a little bit more than, say, a smaller ticket item like a video game. And I imagine gift cards and things won't be on sale at all. They'd be easy enough to throw all of those in a box and sell them. It would be definitely a bigger deal if Toys R Us, in its filing for bankruptcy, was specifically closing all of its stores. Like, if they had nowhere to put anything else, if it was just going to be a everything must go scenario, that you would see some major closing deals. Many decades ago, there was a store called Target that, Target still exists. What was it? Circle K? No. There was some general department store that had a toy section, and things were going for 80 or 90% when we visited it on like the last day everything must go type sale. But it was also a huge mess and probably not worth the effort to even go. For Toys R Us, particularly, if I could get like Legos on sale, that would be amazing. Any kind of discount on Legos is a good discount on Legos because it's literally a monopoly. Only one company makes Legos that are worth mentioning, and of course there are other people that make interlocking brick toys, but I'm too much of a snob to do anything with those. So yeah, if I found that the store is going to be shut down where I am, I might decide to see if I can get some discounts, but I imagine I wouldn't. And I imagine if that was the case, I'd have to sleep overnight and line up and do a bunch of crazy things, and yeah, it's probably not worth anything. Here's an extra credits from Extra Credits YouTube channel saying games should not cost $60 anymore. Like, way to make the argument for somebody else. And before they put that out, they said, oh, by the way, you could have watched this video 30 minutes earlier if you watched it on Twitch. And that's another aspect, certainly, with the changes to YouTube. We're going to see a huge increase of people once again pushing people to go watch things on Twitch instead. Just full on, don't even think about it. Go watch it somewhere else. Jeez, we definitely need something. Apparently the PS4 has been hacked to play PS2 games. Okay, like that seems to make sense, and really no reason why a PS4 wouldn't be able to play PS2 games. The real question is, how well could it play PS3 games, because the PS3 was the one with the incredibly difficult architecture. A Raspberry Pi can play PlayStation 1 games, by the way, so it's really not that hard to run an emulator on a standard computer, which is effectively what the PS4 is. It's the PS3 that wasn't the standard computer. There we go. And let's get to the clock. We've been going about 3 hours now. Whenever you target this minion with a spell, give it gain to Divine Shield. Alright, so if I give this guy Divine Shield, that works. And if I do this, that kind of works. Just end the turn. So we'll just continuously try to give this guy Divine Shield. He's taking fatigue. Seriously, he's got no cards. I've got to do 30 damage on my own. Thanks. How many cards do I have? 3? I got to figure out some way to do 30 damage on my own. Play this. Play this. Do that. Three 2/2 runs. I guess that's the right move to do right now. And then end the turn. Because I can't attack him. And this Tavern Brawl sucks. It really does. It sucks for being too easy, which is usually not the problem in Hearthstone games. Usually the problem is it's too hard. But there you go. And I have one more card. Let's see, can I do 15? I can do this and this for 5, and then this and this for 9. That does 14 damage. So let's just do it. This, and we'll just leave this, and this, and then the turn there. We really shouldn't have won here. Really shouldn't have won, but we're going to anyways. Just by sticking through it. Unless he somehow manages to kill. There we go. Die. Boring, boring, boring. It was incredibly boring to do that tavern brawl once, let alone do it 3 times. But the good news, I suppose, if there is any good news here, and I guess we should try to look for the good news in life always, is I only really need to play a Murloc game or 2. And so I don't even really need to cheat. I'll just do it in the post show and play 2, maybe 3, to be honest, Murloc games. And if I win any of those games, because it will almost certainly be a Shaman Murloc deck that I have on my main account, then I'll get both of the quests done. What, 2,600 gold? Disenchant these, all 5 of those cards, probably. Then we have 3 new ones that I imagine from something else I missed, or maybe from a bug. A common card, a rare card, and a common card. And those are for kobolds and catacombs. If we look at all cards, do I have any new wild cards? Nope. Well, that's it for this recording. Stay tuned for the post show. It was a long one. I should have broken it up. I didn't. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.
for Doomhammer.
Wow.
Job's done.
You are the Shadow's puppet!
You have been. The light shall burn you.
Thrall versus Jaina!
You asked for it.
For Doomhammer.